It's the worst day of the year. I even found
April
a
1st.
graphic that's not technically, it says worst day of the year, something
Run.
run. This is some sort of running thing. But
Yeah. It's funny because Chris Capicella sent out that memo and we kind of reported on it and became part of the public consciousness. It kind of made like the Google stuff today and whatever else like even dumber than usual.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's always offensive and pointless. Look, I know we talked about this earlier, but let me rephrase what we said previously about April Fools, which is this: we have senses of humor. We enjoy having a good time. The April Fool stuff is almost always terrible, and that's the problem. It's not good humor.
Yeah.
It's also not a good time for a corporation to put out fake press releases or blog posts about fake products and services. Like it's just. Jeez, stupid.
Yeah, the biggest joke was actually played by Mother Nature, because this weekend we kind of like springified our house a little bit, which meant like just random things.
Oh, we had windows open. Flowers are coming up out of the grass.
Yeah, and then you know what the temperature was?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do because I walked in it. It was 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, 35.
That's the biggest.
That's with
joke.
the sun in the sky. The good news is, like we've discussed this before, spring transitions between seasons.
It's the
are not,
USB-C of seasons.
yes. There are ups and downs, and then there are abject fails like Surface. But it's just if you look at the weather, I'm sure this is consistent for you as well. Today is the last gasp of what I would call winter type weather in the forecast. Right? It doesn't mean it won't get cool again, but. This weekend was unbelievably nice, and then it's going to be fine. Like it's going to get back up into the 50s and 60s and stuff. But like today, like I don't know. I think the high today is like 41 or something. Like it's some.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be good by the weekend, which is what's important.
No, it'll be good. Yeah, yep.
Because we don't dump enough on Skype on this podcast, we rarely do this. You should be aware that if you're using Android, sometimes Skype is automatically answering calls, which is suboptimal.
That's a very polite way to put it.
Yeah.
Broken, I think is what I would say.
Yeah, and now we shouldn't rule out the dumping because Facebook, iOS had their own probably even worse thing with FaceTime, where you could just basically call yourself and then add someone to a call, and then it would automatically turn the camera and microphone on.
Sure. These are, hard computer science problems. Just, it happens. It's not personal.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes it is with AirPower. I appreciate that Apple finally put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah. I wonder if I'll write this, mostly because it's not on my desktop, and now I wonder what happened to it because I started it. But I had started an article about the AirPower thing, and I think the reason I didn't publish it over the weekend is I've already written too much about it. But a lot of people are comparing this to the keyboard on the MacBooks, right? It's like this thing didn't meet your standards, but the keyboard did. Like, really? But honestly, I think the better comparison here is to the iPhone 4 and how this thing, Apple discovered that if you held it normally, it would create attenuation. It would lose a signal, and they shipped it anyway. And the reason they did that was because they loved the design, right? Remember, the iPhone 4 had an all new for the day design. And, the little stopgap they came up with, literally, was to put little air gaps in the metal around the outside. And the problem is, of course, as you hold it, your hand goes right to where those gaps are, and that's what, causes the problem. Now, the irony here, if you will, is that all other handset makers on Earth already knew about this because they had been making phones for years and years. You don't wrap metal all the way around antennas. Like that's what stops the signal. And but Steve Jobs was so enamored of this design, he said, "Screw it, I don't care. I just want it to look like this. Make it work." And I think that Apple bending reality thing has been a theme in Apple's history, certainly during the Steve Jobs era, and it sort of persists today. And I think this is the same kind of problem. That that you can't do what they wanted to do, which is basically put any number of devices anywhere on this pad and have them charge effectively. Because anyone who uses wireless charging knows there's a sweet spot.
Oh yes,
on that pad, right? And anyone who uses wireless charges has been bitten by the fact that if you put your phone or watch or whatever it is on the wrong spot, go to bed and get up in the morning, got to rush to the airport or whatever it is, that thing will not be charged
Yep.
because you put it in the wrong place. So Apple wanted to solve that problem. And I totally appreciate it. It's not, in this case, it's not for aesthetic reasons. It's truly usable. And if Apple was able to accomplish this, it would be a reasonable accomplishment, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
What they ran into, of course, was a lot of people
Physics?
said the laws of physics. Well, no, they succeeded. It's not so much the laws of physics as it is the law, because there are regulations about electronic interference. And to achieve that level of the power that required to allow that thing to seamlessly charge across the pad, it would have to give off so much interference, it would be illegal to sell that device. And by the way, that's serious because it can stop pacemakers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is some pretty high-level interference. There's also concerns, too, about it getting too hot.
That's right. Heat is the other.
Yeah.
That's right. The heat is the other thing. And so, a wireless charging pad, I guess the problem there might be the heat gets transferred to the device itself. I think that thing would probably just radiate heat. And, it would maybe it would warm up your room. I don't know. We've all had those laptops where you have that really kind of hot spot where the CPU probably is, or maybe the GPU.
Yep.
I don't know. No one has an AirPower, but it's just Apple. They get away with this kind of thing, and they try to rev things over time. I don't think they would have gotten away with this. And had they, think about this, and this would have been kind of the central part of what I wanted to write, was the irony of Apple causing potentially a health problem, perhaps even a death, at a time when it is marketing itself for its prowess in health, would be, honestly, I don't mean to be dramatic, that could destroy the company. Because Apple is scanning every day for the tiniest story. One guy in Kansas who went to the doctor because his Apple Watch said something. They said, yes, you do have heart arrhythmia, whatever. Thank God for the Apple Watch. It saved my life. This would have been the hugest news story, because anytime a phone catches on fire or whatever it is, you hear about this all the time. This would have been very bad.
Which, by the way, I'm mad at my Apple Watch. I need to get this off my chest.
Why do you have heart arrhythmia?
No, then I would be happy, because then I would at least know that I'm going to die. So I think whatever we've talked about this, doing these stupid challenges that the Apple Watch sets every month. The goal is, my goal for 2019 is to complete them every single month. That's my goal. And so in February, I had to do average 520 calories a day. Okay, great. I did
exercise.
That.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calories out, I guess.
Yep. What they call active movement. So just breathing doesn't count, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd be a rock star at this.
I snore a lot, so that would probably be 500 right there.
Yeah. And then March last month I had to double the exercise goal a certain number of days. So rather than doing I'm supposed to do 400 calories a day. That's what to close the rings. And on certain days I had to do 800. Great, whatever. So this month,
how hard is that? I'm sorry to interrupt. What does that look like? So you have to do, it's today, you have to do 800. What do you do to achieve 800?
So on days that I go to a gym, pretty easy, because I'll go to the gym and I will run a mile, which is typically, I would say 200 to 250 calories, something like that. And then I'll do weightlifting and other things for another half hour, 45 minutes. And that usually gets me to, honestly, pretty 350. So if you think of it this way, for a normal baseline, an hour at the gym maybe would do about 400. And
I can't spend an hour at the gym. But yes, okay.
And then just normal everyday activity, walking around the house, is probably about 200 to 300. And if I walk the dog, that's another 100.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what I do. Yeah, weights for me is 250, 300 maybe. I just went on a 30-minute walk, which is short for me, but like I said, 35 degrees, 335 calories. Yeah, good walk for me. 45 minutes is 500 calories. All right, so you're saying the rest of the day, just being alive, you achieve the.
Yeah, I'd be fine. But the problem is, so Apple touts that they're really good at AI, whatever things. My stupid challenge for this month is just to do average 600 calories every day of the month, which is the same thing, very similar to what I had to do in February. I was hoping for something fun, something maybe
something different.
Yeah, maybe run a mile in under 8 minutes 3 times. Well, I don't know, anything.
This begs the question then, is what they're really doing what a trainer might do, which is basically slowly build you up over time so that by the end of the year, you might be doing 800 a day just every day.
Yeah, I mean, that's clearly the goal, but I was just hoping for some variety. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. Yep.
But anyway, so I've
Yeah.
got to average 600 calories every day this month, which is actually
600
pretty
calories.
damn hard. So,
Yeah, every day it is, sure. Because honestly, like even Fitbit, if you, like what they want you to do is exercise 5 days out of a week,
yeah.
right? That's 2 days off. If you were to take 2 days off, you would have to average, whatever that works out to be, 700 calories of the days you do
And
work
that's
out.
the problem is like, let's say you want to go out
Yep.
drinking Friday night and you want to do nothing on Saturday. Well,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
Well, we're going to see if I can. If not,
State that plainly.
just
Yeah, good luck.
the real challenge is going to be May because of all the travel we have.
Yeah, and actually, right. So, work travel to me is the worst thing that can happen to exercise.
Oh yeah.
I don't. The food thing doesn't bug me too much. There's a lot of people who are on diets and things are worried, like, oh, travel for work, you can't eat healthy in a restaurant, whatever. But it's that I am in no mood to work out when I travel, and there's something about even the smallest travel, like we just went to New York, for example. You got on a plane. I didn't even do that, but I just got on a bus. You know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be tiring. But there's something really tiring about it. And actually,
not sleeping in your own bed, not just being in your own
there's
house.
some combination of stuff. Right. So when I look at my last week, like the only days I didn't work out, if you will, or do any exercise were Sunday and Wednesday. And those were the days I took the bus rides. And when I got up that morning, I was like, surely I can go to the gym for like 30 minutes or go for a walk or something. And then I got home. You might remember this. I took 3 naps that day. 3.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I know. I was exhausted. So, yeah, we have a lot of work travel coming up, like you said. We're going to get on planes. We're going to go to places. We are going to go out. I mean, there's going to be some stupidity for sure. We're going to tack that onto it. But yeah, the notion of getting up an hour early or something and going to the hotel gym in the morning, I'll just tell you right now, I'm not doing it. So if you're down there, good for you.
I probably will be. Actually, it's more than likely going to happen. Just watch the headlines, folks, because from Cincinnati to Seattle is about 4-hour flight. If I have to do stupid steps, I'm going to get arrested just from walking up and down that plane.
I hate people who do that.
Oh,
I often
I'm going to
sit
hate
in like a
myself doing
bulkhead seat. People. I almost videotaped a woman on one of my last flights. Like this woman did such exaggerated and lengthy stretches and squats and stuff, like in front of me. Like it's like, honey, this is not. It's not general exercise area. This is an emergency exit for the plane. I don't want to look at this.
Yeah, one flight's not going to do you in.
Thank you. That's my point.
I mean, look at the pilots who have to sit up front.
It doesn't matter how long the flight is. If this is an imperative for you, I get stretching. Like, and certainly there are very real issues about, your deep vein thrombosis or whatever circulation issues on a plane. All you got to do is walk in the aisle. You don't have to stretch in front of me. Like you can do that in your hotel before you leave. You could do it in the airport in the bathroom if you want when you get home, or you can go home and do it there. I mean, the things that people do out in public to me are amazing sometimes. They were close. This woman was closer to me right now than my computer screen is. And it's like, I know you see me. I know you see me. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of an off topic thing, but yeah, no, May's going to be tough.
Yeah, we will see. Speaking of other just things that happened, Microsoft announced a Surface Book 2 with the 8th gen Core i5 processor, which the big thing there, correct me if I'm wrong, is it really just takes you from a dual core to a quad core setup for that entry-level Core i5 Surface Book 2.
That's right. This is a hard one to explain, but the way the Surface Book 2 launched in late, actually 2017, it's kind of hard to even think back that far, was they had, first of all, 13.5 and 15-inch versions, which was a first. Before it was just 13.5. Quad-core across the board, i7, 8th gen, right? Except in the base model, which at that time was a $1,500 device, previous gen, 7th gen, dual-core i5. And the configuration, as I recall it, was 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. Now, in the interim, they've changed a few things, actually across all Surface devices. So in a bid to lower prices, They've come in with lower configurations, and so you can buy a new base level config, which is 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. Also, I should say integrated graphics. That's the other differentiator on these devices. And the price, I'm going to get the price wrong. I want to say it was $1,250, something like that. And sometimes it's on sale for like $1,150, that kind of thing. So this particular new configuration is now the first quad-core i5. It's also integrated graphics. It's basically like this, well, depending on how you look at it, it's the third one up. It doesn't seem to replace anything, although it might eventually. So we have the two dual-core previous gen, actually they're all previous gen now, but let's say 7th gen i5s. And then you have one configuration that's a quad-core 8th generation i5. $1,500. Right now it's the same price as the previous gen, if you will. Which is on sale now for, I don't know, $1,150 or $1,250, whatever it is. It's confusing. Also, you probably agree with this. You probably know more about this than I do, actually. They're probably not going to replace Surface Book 2 until this fall.
Yeah, I think it's the last that I heard, which was was a little bit ago. It might not even be. It might be in closer like to winter. If they do.
Yeah. Right. So this will be around for a while. I think this is. I don't know why they did this. To be honest, I don't quite see the point. I never saw why they did a previous gen at all. To be honest, as well. But I think the differentiator there, the way you could justify it was a way to keep costs down. Not that it was inexpensive. It was the only version that came with integrated graphics, and you could kind of make the case like, okay, fine, because all of the other devices, versions of Surface Book 2 came with some form of dedicated graphics. NVIDIA, something, I don't know, 1050, 1060, I think, depending on the size of the device. Now it's like, okay, well, yeah, okay, you've added this, I guess. Why? And why are there so many of them? I mean, there's so many different configurations now. It's a little confusing.
That is true. But at least, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's there if you want it, I guess.
Yep. I wonder if, part of me wonders if it was a supply issue too. Intel will be like, look, that...
I know, but it's like a year and a half later. Like,
I know, that's the thing that doesn't make sense, is it's not like this is just came out.
If anything, you could make an argument that a device like this should have a 9th generation hexa-core option on the high end. They're always a step behind. I think the thing that was interesting when it first came out was, at least if you got a non-base level configuration, you were getting that quad-core 8th gen. At the time, was brand new. That made tons of sense. This is basically a portable workstation. It was fine. And the i7, the 7th gen thing was a little weird, but okay, fine. Like adding it now, it's like, it would make more sense if they came in with a high-end configuration on both products. They gave you a 9th gen whatever, maybe upgraded graphics as well. Super expensive. But yeah, I don't know. So a little strange.
Yeah, part of me also wonders too if this was an enterprise corporate thing, that those people who are buying these are like, look, you need to do whatever. I don't know. We'll probably never know the exact answer, but here we are.
Yeah, it is odd. There it is.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing is that they updated the rest of the line rather than just this one SKU. Yeah,
right. Yeah, it's a little weird.
It is. But it is also April 1st, but that was announced March 31st. So,
right. Well, it wasn't even really announced. They just dropped it on the site. Yeah.
They just did it, which that's why I wonder if it's a supply. Well, I don't know. You would think they would talk about this because getting 2 more cores for roughly the same price is kind of a big deal, but...
Well, they're sale pricing the comparable previous gen version. I suspect they will stop selling it.
Yeah, you're probably absolutely right on that.
If you forget about the fact that sometime in the past year and a half, they added a new base level model, this one essentially replaces what was originally the base model at the same price. So $1,500 used to be the starting price for Surface Book 2. Yeah, you're getting 2 additional cores for free. It's so far into the future, compared to when it was released, that it's kind of weird. But, like I said, since then, and they did this with Surface laptop, Surface, let's say Surface Laptop, and then I guess Surface Laptop 2 is a little newer. But, oh no, that came out at the same time, didn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember it. Don't confuse it. Doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It came out. Surface Laptop 2 and Surface Book 6 came out at the same time. So
Yes, that's
at
right.
some point, Surface Laptop and Surface Pro 5, let's call it, also added lower end configurations. And I'm sure when I don't remember off the top of my head, but Surface Laptop 2 and Surface Pro 6, I'm sure, came in at that same lower level. Meaning that, they were slightly more affordable if you could, if you could deal with the base version, like you weren't getting a Core M something, whatever. It was like kind of a decent machine. And I think this is just keeping it consistent, I guess. But we spent too much time on this. It makes no sense. I don't know why they did this.
We have. But if that's what was holding you back, you can now go spend.
Yes. And by the way, if that is what was holding you back, seek psychiatric help. Yeah, because we just spent a bunch of time on this, but I think about this stuff a lot, and I every once in a while have a moment of clarity where I wonder why.
Yep. The other thing too is I know that Microsoft and Intel aren't exactly happy with each other right now behind the scenes, because I think, I'm not positive on this, but the next generation Surface stuff for the business customers may not support V Pro from Intel because Microsoft just doesn't think that it needs it anymore, and so Intel's pretty pissed because that's obviously just like pure margin for them.
Right. And I suspect it was you, right? You had to think about should I say this?
Is an AMD laptop.
Yeah, AMD in there. Yeah. And long rumors about a Qualcomm device as well, right? But there were many people suspect, I think this is true, that the Surface Go was originally supposed to be a Qualcomm device, but that the issues with the first gen hardware, which it would have been basically, or I guess it would have been second gen, just prevented that from happening. The compatibility issues were too much. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. This could be an interesting year for Surface. What just happened has nothing to do with that. I think,
That is it. You got anything else for today, Mr. Powell?
Not really. No.
Good.
How about you?
Nothing. We're going to fool nobody today and just end it right there, folks. We'll catch you right back here tomorrow.